Hi, and good morning, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy morning to join me. I really do appreciate it. So, it doesn't matter if you're heading on out to church or you're coming on in from debaucherous. I just forget that I'm trying to use big words here. Most of the time, I have a pretty good vocabulary, but it wouldn't show now. Anyways, let's act as if, you're either on your way to church, either coming from church, or coming back home. What do they call those? The walk of shame. I guess that's my daily version of walking, is the walk of shame. But I guess some people only do that on the weekends. And moreover, shout out to those people who are coming from the walk of shame, going on over to your morning mass or church or baptism practice or whatever it is. You feel me? I hope that you guys are doing great. And I bring up all the religions and all the different kinds of things that people do here in America on Sunday mornings, typically speaking. And listen, this is coming from a terrible Catholic. I've said this before. I love my religion. I'm just not the guy that is the guy that needs to be the guy to be listened to about it. We all have our own special relationship with our own iteration of a deity, right? We all need some guidance. Anyways, that's how I feel about it, right? And I say that because there's been many times in my life where I have attended church, obviously, as a Catholic. Moreover, I'm an interfaith practitioner as a socialist, if you can believe that. It's entirely possible for multiple things to be true simultaneously. And that means your boy here might be a terrible Catholic, but I do believe in God, all right? And I do have mad respect for all the religions. Polytheistic, monotheistic, you feel me? It's really all the same. And I know that somehow sort of makes me a terrible practicing Catholic. And I don't believe in that. I'm sorry, Pope, sir. Sorry, God. It's just everyone is created equal, and moreover, it's so powerful within me, right? Like politics and religion are completely separate things. They should never be mixed together, but there comes some times in life where people need to be seen in a different kind of a perspective, and that's why it's important for the public to know that I do go out of my way to attend services that aren't necessarily Catholic, and I just like being a part of a community just like anyone else does when they go to these church sessions. It's all a cult, sorry to say. Anyways, you might be a socialist if you do any of those things. And moreover, I want to explain to people why you don't have to be a socialist to vote for a socialist or to believe in socialist ideas. So I'm not the guy to try and change your political ideologies. I understand that this country has a dual party system. I mean, there's Republicans, there's Democrats, and about 800 other parties that don't matter at all. And in fact, these other parties have proven to interfere with what otherwise would be an elected official that might have been better than the lesser of the two evils. You see what I'm saying? And so, for example, in the year 2000, it was a close election. I think that election was decided by George W. Bush's younger brother, Jeb. That's his legacy. Jeb, I mean, what am I bringing up Jeb for? I like the Bush family. All that I'm saying is that in the year 2000, if it hadn't been for third party candidates, there would be a strong case to be had in that Al Gore would have probably been our president. And again, the founder of the internet. Al Gore wasn't a bad guy. I mean, the guy was relatively young, and we ended up with Bush, and here we are 25 years later. So again, I really have nothing bad as a socialist. I got to be honest with you guys too. I have nothing bad to say about George W. Bush. I have my opinions, but I do know that I've said this before. Being here from Albuquerque, New Mexico, that particular family has been good to the community, and I know that there's some arguments to be made that he wasn't a very good president, but I really feel like his legacy will speak for itself as it gets on into the future. And oh my God, yes, you did just really hear me endorse George W. Bush, but no love lost, because I truly feel like that. As a young man, I was a staunch opponent of the Iraq invasion and so forth, and I still feel like many things can be true at once, including enjoying and or respecting someone's politics and where they come from, and not particularly, agreeing with any of it. I mean, in and of itself, but still. No love lost to the Bush family. And so let's continue on. I think that this country, in particular, with the dual party system, has made some sort of like I prefaced all of this in this sidebar, this little side quest, these little things that I do, right? Um, Socialism is just another idea, okay? And I need people to understand that you can be a Republican, you can be a Democrat. I'm not asking you to change who you are. You feel me? If you identify more with a red right leaning political party or a blue left leaning liberal party, really, it's not my concern. It's really not. Nor should it be the concern of any, you know, non-primary election candidate as it comes to constituents, in that we're all the same, as long as you have the right to vote, which people work relentlessly to take away from you. Just a friendly reminder. I mean, we do live in a world and in a great country, but to this very day, we have no such thing as compulsory voting. And moreover, compulsory voting is something that they have in Australia, and it's mandatory voting. It's something that I'm a huge fan of, and they don't like lock you up or anything if you don't vote, but you do have to pay a pretty hefty fine. And I think that that's a small price to pay, quite literally or not, when, you're given all the cool rights that you have in a world where peace is hard to come by. Long-term peace, for some reason, on the surface of this planet is hard to come by. So anytime you can, muster in a few decades or a couple centuries of some time where there aren't any conflicts, I think that's all right. I mean, there shouldn't be any conflicts at all, but we're dealing with that currently. And I just need you guys to know that you don't need to be a socialist to vote for socialist ideas and or a socialist candidate in future presidential elections. Again, not interested in changing the way people, identify or how they feel with certain political ideologies. I just feel like in time, we'll all be socialists. I'm just saying that like 50 years from now, there will be no Democrats, there will be no Republicans, there will just be socialists. And moreover, the world, will be left behind if countries continue to still practice any kind of archaic Western capitalism. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for constituents. It's not healthy for people, who are constituents, again, because you're born into a country that is an organized government, and you should have the right to vote. And moreover, you should be made to vote. And if you don't want to vote, you should have to pay a fine, just like in Australia and many other countries all over the world. So again, you don't have to be a socialist to like my channel, to believe in some of the things that I believe in, because again, I'm not trying to make you a socialist. I'm just simply trying to ascertain the idea that we all have a lot more things in common than not. And it's really important to focus on those things that we have in common so that we can make a positive impact in the world. Like IRL, brick and mortar. Like, it's time for people to be nice to each other. I'm interested in like a perpetual time cycle of stability and peace, diplomacy and amicability, prosperity for everyone, not just a few people. And I'm tired of arguments that say things like the world is overpopulated and stuff. I mean, don't be fooled. Look outside. The world's a big place, okay? There's enough room for everyone here, honestly. I mean, I would even argue the fact that like we should probably do what evolution guides us to do, and that's like have more babies and live long and fruitful, prosperous lives. Look at all the things that we've got done in just the last 80 years. No caps. There's been major achievements in all different kinds of fields. Unfortunately, some of those and or most of all of those achievements have been held back by a Western capitalist government who refuses to give the people what they deserve. And what they deserve is all of the very basic things that one requires to have an opportunity to live a good life. Again, no government can assure that you live a good life. There are bad times. The world is not a safe place sometimes. That's why I'm a huge advocate for moving underground. Anyways, I'm just saying that socialism is a really good idea, and you guys should do all of what you need to do to recognize how many more things you have in common with socialist principles and ideologies than not, right? Like, again, I'm not here to argue with fascists. I'm not here to argue with Democrats and or Republicans. However, I am throwing it out now that like Ben Shapiro, I'm coming for you, buddy. I mean debating, right? I mean that like Ben Shapiro is a really notable figure. I have respect for the guy. He's an excellent speaker. I've watched him many times. He's a pretty sharp cookie, a pretty sharp tool, whatever. Is sharp, what's a sharp cookie? A sharp cookie doesn't sound like a good thing. Regardless, I look forward to a day of which I'm able to debate Mr. Shapiro. And, again, it's these kinds of things that motivate me to do these videos and to get across these ideas, because I feel like they're not my ideas. They're not brilliant ideas. They're not even good ideas. They're just common sense ideas. And if you're not for common sense, then I really feel like we need to talk about some things so that we can all be on a level of which we can start to make the world a better place by talking about those things. So I'm done talking about this sidebar rant on socialism kind of a thing. And obviously, at the end of the day, I do want something from you, and we'll get to that in a handful of years, I'm sure. But until that time, it's fair that you guys know my aspirations while I'm in character here, and while I'm a caricature of a character of myself. Oh my God, you understand what I'm saying? So as you go out and you do all of your church activities, as you go out and practice your religion and remind yourself that all people are created equal, and that it's important to take care of people that have nothing. And moreover, like, it's not just important, it's like in fact our duty. It's our duty, not just as religious participants in polytheistic or monotheistic religions, but as just civically minded just individuals who need not love our neighbor, but definitely not hate our neighbor. Absolutely not. You feel me? Again, nobody's got to be best friends here. None of that at all. But we don't want to create an environment of which people are incentivized to hate one another and to essentially just steal from one another. All right, we're done with that. Hey guys, I really appreciate you watching my videos. I tried to make a couple of videos this past weekend, but they were pretty I didn't post them. I do my best to like stay in character and stuff, but sometimes like last night, for example, it wasn't the kind of video that I wanted to post. So I'm going to redo that video right now after the conclusion of this. I'll start to post this one, smoke a cigarette, drink some coffee. Oh my God. Holy Jesus. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a really good day. I hope that you have a really good Sunday. And keep in mind that, like, I'm not trying to waste my time with y'all. You feel me? You guys, seriously, I love each and every one of you. Not in a weird way. Let's not do that. Jesus Christ. I'm just saying that, like, if you take the time out of your day to watch this video and to watch my channel, I know that there's still some hope in the world, right? Because I really feel as if we can all make a positive impact. And I won't stop, until I feel like we have all been given our fair shot to be such a great part of this country. to live a good life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't, haters can hate. But the fact of the matter is, money is made up. It's all just a scam anyway. And, instead of like not involving the general public in the scheme of trying to make society move forward, let's involve everyone, right? They're already kind of counter complicit in that we live our lives basically as economic slaves, still thinking that we have some kind of hope and or opportunity to make a change and or impact in our life or our community's life. And then, we get caught up in life. And sometimes, like we're not to blame when it comes to not being able to fix society's problems, because at the end of the day, we are just people and we want to live our best lives, and we want to go home to somebody or not, and we want to have a family, and we want to have peace, and we don't want to be hurt physically and or mentally. I mean, these are the very basic things I feel like not only we have in common, but like these are the principles, the foundation of life. This is what happens if you're rich, if you're broke, if you're poor. It doesn't really matter. Unconditional love is really important, and I feel like it transcends all sort of political ideologies, either like on a state level or a national level. Community is really powerful. It is a very powerful thing, so powerful that in fact communities can make changes to the world at large, and it really is up to individual communities to rally together and really, really try to make an impact, a positive impact on their community. It really is, at the end of the day, like local communities are the stewards of the very places they live in, and y'all got to take care of them. You feel me? Y'all got to take care of the people there. Y'all got to make sure that people have money. Y'all have to make sure that people have something that they can do, instead of creating a situation of which is like there's some sort of effed up supply and demand in life. I mean, literally, like that's the kind of world that we're living in. You're born into a world that you didn't choose to be born into, and then you're either forced by a hand of luck, just to either live a really good life, or in most cases to live a really terrible life, and all at the expense of being able to give someone else a good life. And that's not just unfair and unequal, but it's criminal. It really is. We all deserve an opportunity for so much better, and can you imagine all of the people who've never experienced just even like a single good day? I mean, like honestly, there's more than hundreds of millions of them out there. And I feel like we have to talk about those things. I'm out of character now, right? It's been an interesting weekend. I know that I think I have some work coming up this week, so I'm very excited about that. Thank you so much for the continued opportunity to be a part of an industry that I am, more than immersed in. I mean, this has now become my life, and I have no regrets, and I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not taking it back, and I'm not doing anything else. This is it. And so I'm very happy with that. Those are some of the things that come along with being old, I think, and finally starting to grow up a little bit. I've lived a really good life, and I mean, again, all things considered, I've also had a lot of terrible things happen too, right? I'm a normal person. It's just, I really try and stay positive. If not, I would have given up a long time ago. You feel me? And I feel like sometimes we all think like that. And I think that's pretty normal too. To feel like sometimes you want to give up, and you get frustrated, and then you end up doing even more dumb things. You feel me? Like, I get it. It's cool. We can talk about those things. I hope that you guys are doing well. Have a really good Sunday. I'm going to make another video, probably many videos today. I'm feeling pretty good. And that's just because I think my lazy eye is getting a little bit better, but I don't know because I don't have my contacts. I'm starting to talk a little bit faster because I'm trying to wrap up this video. You guys have a wonderful Sunday. We'll talk to everyone really soon. And remember, you don't have to be a socialist to vote for socialist ideas, all right? Keep that in mind, folks. Again, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Green Party, Libertarian, whatever it is. It's just, meet me in the middle here, and let's make some real dooful impact in a positive way towards a world that desperately needs it. You feel me? I hope that you guys have a really good night, all right? Or a really good day. Bye.